What's going on, guys? In this video, we are going to be supercharging ChatGPT by unlocking a backdoor to integrate this into tens of thousands of other applications and allow you to do literally whatever it is you want. So all those times you're like, man, I wish the ChatGPT had a certain functionality. You'll never say that again because you will be able to build it out in this video. Let me show you a couple examples. Firstly, I'm going to say, please call Jono. And of course, I'm saying please here just because I'm Canadian, and I'm going to go ahead and confirm that I want to call myself here. Okay. And so what's going on here is, even though this is not native functionality in ChatGPT, it's going to essentially call me, which you can see on my phone in front of me. Let's pick up this call.
This is the call you requested with Jono.
Perfect. And I can click any key on the keypad and connect myself into a call with myself. As much as I'd love to talk to myself right now, I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to hang up the phone and continue on with this video. So that looks good to me. That's the first thing that we can do here. Another thing that we could do here, for instance, is I could send myself, or more importantly, I could send a client an invoice. So I'm going to go ahead and say, please send an invoice to Jono. And very similarly, I'm going to include please in here because why not? And then it's going to ask for an email. Now, I just added this step in here just for just in case you wanted to do this. But with the particular workflow I've built out, I've built this in a way where you don't even have to ask for the email because nobody actually remembers anyone else's email. I'd be like, I only know my own. That's it. And so if you're like me, you probably don't want to enter that in. You just want to enter in somebody's first and last name, and that should be pretty doable. And so this has gone ahead and it's been sent over. We can take a look and see that we've received this document in our inbox. We'll click view document, and now all of a sudden we have a beautiful document that we can send off to clients in a matter of only a couple minutes. This is absolutely stunning, and it's super easy to do. Now, the next thing is maybe you're dealing with things like invoices like this, and you want to upload all of these particular line items here, like this $65 into a Google spreadsheet, or you maybe want to put it into QuickBooks. And if you're like me, you absolutely hate accounting, you hate doing this, and you just want to automate this whole process, and you wish it would just go away forever. But fortunately, you can automate all of this. And so let's talk about how we can do this. First thing is we're going to go back into ChatGPT and we're going to upload the document straight from our computer, which I'm going to do here. And I'm going to say, please upload this document and process it. Okay. And of course, it's going to ask to connect in, and in real time, this should come in and update our particular Google spreadsheet with all the line items from that particular invoice. So let's just double check to make sure that this looks good. We can essentially see here, description, title, invoice. Awesome. So that all looks good to me. And lastly, what we can do here is we can ask it to integrate into n8n to essentially talk to an external AI agent. So the world's going crazy right now for AI agents. How cool would it be if we could have ChatGPT connect into n8n to unlock the ability to talk to an external AI agent that now has access to tens of thousands of other applications, anything we really want. Just take a look as I scroll for days on the right-hand side here, where when I go into actions in app, there's lots of different things. Chances are you're using a lot of these applications already, and you can connect straight into it using ChatGPT and n8n. So let's go ahead and test this out. I'm going to say, please message my AI agent asking or seeing what my calendar availability, actually I'm going to say schedule, looks like for today. And of course, it's going to go ahead and ask me to confirm, at which point I will. Then in the background, this is going to run. You're not going to see it running because it's already set to active. But in the background, this is going to run. And then it's going to, first of all, take a look at my calendar here, formulate a response, and then it will send that back into ChatGPT. And if we come back up here, it says your calendar is clear for today. No events are scheduled. Let me know if you'd like to book anything in or need help planning the day. And so essentially I could come back in here and ask it to book a calendar invite into Google Calendar. And there's just so many different options here. It's crazy. And all of this is going to be able to be set up in a matter of a couple minutes. Now, the cool thing is that all these blueprints here that you see, it's all completely for free. If you guys want to download this and start playing around with this, it's only going to take you a couple minutes. It took me hours and hours and hours to figure this out. It'll only take you a couple minutes. You can download the blueprints in the description down below for free. Once you have the blueprints downloaded, you can come up to these 3 dots here. You can hit the 3 dots and import for a file, and you're going to get access to this. In the rest of the video, we're going to be walking through how you can set up this integration in a matter of minutes so that your ChatGPT is going to be connected into n8n, allowing you to do whatever it is you want. If you guys like this kind of content, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel, because if you like this video, I'm sure you're going to like the other videos that I talk about in order to automate all other aspects of your life. Let's get into this right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this up. First things first, we should probably set up an n8n account if you haven't done so already, and you can do this absolutely for free on their free trial plan to get started. And once you've gone ahead and signed up for n8n, you can log into your account and we can create a new scenario by hitting this plus button on the side here. Now, what we want to do is effectively set up this automation so that we receive data from ChatGPT into n8n. So we're sending data from ChatGPT into n8n. How we can do that is by accessing the blueprints down below for free in the description. Now, in the blueprints, it's going to walk you through step by step on how to set this up in 5 minutes or less, and not like the 10 hours that it took me to set this up. So hopefully it'll save you a ton of extra time. And so as we go through here, there's going to be a link to the custom GPT generator. We're going to click on this, and this is going to generate for us all of the code so that, well, you don't have to do it yourself, which is pretty awesome. So when we come in here, we just have to get started by clicking the prompt here, and it's going to walk us through the entire process from start to finish. I'm going to do this as well just to show you how easy this is. First thing is it's going to ask for the n8n webhook base URL, and it's going to give you an example of kind of, what that looks like. So if we hop back into n8n over here, first thing is that we need to create a trigger. And there's lots of different trigger events here, but we specifically want to do the webhook call. So we'll choose this, and this is the URL here that it's talking about. So let's go ahead and copy this, as you can see I'm furiously doing on the right-hand side of the screen here. And we'll go back into n8n and paste it in here. But it's just giving us a couple notes as we paste it in. So first things first, it doesn't want us to include the unique ID here. So this unique ID, we're going to go ahead and delete. And then it's just saying, hey, include in here the webhook -test. Okay, so we have this in here. That looks good. And once we're ready to go live, it's just saying, hey, if you want this to go live, you can essentially delete the -test here, which I'm just going to show there, because if we were to move this to production mode, it's going to get rid of that -test over here as well. Okay, perfect. So that looks good to me. We're back on test mode, and I'm going to enter this in. Cool. And it's going to prompt us to the next stage in the process here. I think it's just thinking incredibly hard about this URL. It's like I've never seen ChatGPT actually focus so hard on a URL before. I thought it was like a simple message, but apparently it's not. Or maybe ChatGPT is just bugging out here. I'm just going to refresh the page and see what's going on. Okay, so we're going to paste in our message again and try it out this time. Perfect. We're good to go. So on to the next step, and it's going to give us a quick reminder here that for our webhook node in n8n, we need to set it to post method, and it's get by default. So if we go back here and we're thinking, what the hell does that mean? Well, we have this HTTP method here, and it's set to get. We need to change this to post by default. Okay, that just means that we can accept information through ChatGPT. It just has to be that way to accept information properly. Okay, on to step number 2. It's going to ask us now to put in that unique ID. So we can just paste in that unique ID here and delete the rest of the URL. And then it's going to say, hey, for the webhook path, please tell me, first of all, the path ID. This is a check. We've done that. Then it's going to ask for the action name, which is just like some name that you're giving it to provide the action. You can see that it's like camel case here. So I'm just going to include that without a space in between. And I'm going to say parse receipts. And then it's going to ask us what fields that we want to collect. And for me, I want to get this data out of the receipt. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to copy this. This will also be in the blueprints down below if you guys choose to use this. But really, this is just whatever. It's up to personal preference. So I'm going to say I want to include the following information. And then we'll just put some commas in between there just to make it really clear. Okay, perfect. And it's also letting us know that we're just setting up one path to do one thing here. So this is like one webhook here, but we can easily set up multiple webhooks. Like we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Just to kind of give some perspective there. Okay, so looks good to me. We can paste this in and this is going to essentially give it all the information that it needs. And now from there, what we can do is generate our OpenAI schema, which is what we're after here. Please generate. And also keep in mind, I put required fields here. You can also leave these as all optional. And now we have generated our OpenAI schema here, okay, which is super nice. This would have taken a long time to do manually. And all we have to do is just copy this. So I'm actually going to duplicate this tab here and have 2 OpenAI tabs open at the same time. And we're going to go back to the instructions. And now it's going to ask, it's going to tell us the next steps here. So we need to create our own custom GPT. So in order for us to do that, we're going to go to Explore GPTs and create. And we can put in all of the information here. So I'm just going to title this live test. And then we actually have all the information here that we can just paste in if we wanted to. So my super awesome personal assistant, because it is pretty super awesome. Then the description, and then we can paste in the instructions over here as well. Now, just one thing about these instructions is, unless you like being called Jono, which I'm assuming you probably don't, you may want to change that. Okay, cool. So that looks good. We'll allow this code interpreter and data analysis down here. And then the last thing that we need to do is just create an action down here. Now, this is where we plug in that schema that we just generated. So we're going to come back here and we're going to copy the schema and then we're going to paste it in here and click create at the top here. Okay, sweet. Just wait for it to load. And I'm just going to make sure it's only shared with myself and click save. Okay, we're pretty much done. That's the vast majority of the heavy lifting done and out of the way. So now with this, it should be able to communicate with n8n, meaning that we can send data from ChatGPT into our particular n8n environment. And it looks like we have a server error here. This is not because of the ChatGPT or custom GPT we created. This is just because OpenAI has been having downtime all day today, and they've had errors with their systems and that kind of stuff. So not everything's working properly. So I just redid it, and now it's published, and we can view this GPT here. Okay, awesome. Now what I want to do is I want to upload this and make sure that we actually send that into this webhook here. So first things first, I'm going to make sure that it's listening for a test event so that we can send data in and receive it. I'm going to say, please parse this invoice. And I'm going to go ahead and upload that invoice straight through my computer here. And let's send this off. And this data should be received in n8n. Okay, everything looks good. It's going to ask for permission. I'm going to confirm. And now we should see that data appear on the right-hand side of the screen. And now we can see everything, like the invoice number, the title, the description, quantity, tax, total, date. So all of this information here has now been added in. The cool thing is like, you're not the one who has to parse this information. ChatGPT is automatically grabbing this data out for you, and they are going to send it. So the whole process of like, you know, grabbing this information from this document here, that's just done automatically. Like, we don't have to do anything. It's just going to pull this out. And so now what we can do is we can enter this into the particular Google sheet that we just created. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to add another module here. So I'm going to add another module by clicking this plus button and then searching by Google Sheets. Okay. And we are going to append, which is a fancy way of just saying add. I don't know why they don't just say add here. I think it would make everyone's life a bit easier, but we're going to append something. Man, I feel like I sound so much smarter than I actually am when I say that. Append, like, I don't know, like who uses that? Like, yeah, would you like to append our coffee date to your calendar for tomorrow at 2 p.m.? Like, who the hell says that? Anyways, beyond the point. So we're going to add this to our Google Sheet here. So I've chosen Google Sheets, and we just need to log into our account here. We can create a new credential here, and essentially we just need to sign into our account. Once we're done with that, we can now have access to Google Sheets through n8n. What that means is that we're giving n8n permission to update this Google Sheet and add things as a row onto it. And then lastly, we just want to connect into the particular Google Sheet because I have like 10,000 Google Sheets here, and we want to narrow it down to this specific one, which is receipts ChatGPT. So from the list here, it'll give us all of our different sheets. I'm going to choose the receipts ChatGPT, and then we can go on and add the particular tab, which I think there's only two, but this is like the sheet down here that we're adding in. And then this looks good. All we need to do is now map, which is just essentially a fancy way of saying drag this information over here. So we've got the information from ChatGPT and we're going to place it into Google Sheets. So I'm going to do invoice number in the invoice number section, title in the title section, description in the description section, quantity, the quantity section, tax in the tax section, and it will do total and date as well. Okay, perfect. And now if I click test step up here, this is going to automatically enter this data onto this particular Google spreadsheet. Perfect. Okay, so we have added our information directly from ChatGPT into Google Sheets. Now, we could also create this AI agent, for example, as well. And so I'm actually just going to copy this over because I think that the purpose of this video, for me at least, was not necessarily to show you how to create an AI agent. I have tons of different free videos on YouTube explaining how to do that. All you have to do is go over to my YouTube channel up here and just take a look at my courses related to n8n. So we have just tons of different courses here on so many different builds. All of these are completely for free, and a ton of these are AI agents, including how to get started and build your first AI agent. So for that reason, that's going to be in a different video if you want to learn that kind of stuff. But for this video specifically, what I want to talk about is how we can add on another webhook here so that instead of just having one, now we have two, and we can send data straight to a second workflow and then send it back into n8n or into ChatGPT. So if we come back here, what I want to do is I want to first of all copy this, okay? And I want to essentially add on to it. So this, if you recall when we first set this up, this was like the prompt on how we can like set this up and stuff. And this is great to set us up, but we can also come back here and keep adding on new paths. So for example, maybe, I don't just want one integration into n8n, I want 2 or 5 or 10 or 20. And so we can just come back here and we can add onto this. So I'm going to ask in this custom prompt or custom GPT, I'm going to say, can you please add another path onto this schema for me? And we can configure this again to include multiple different webhooks. So it's going to say, absolutely, please provide the following details for your webhook path you'd like to add. And so we can come back in here, and this time I'm going to copy this path. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete this webhook because I copied it from another scenario here, and I just want to make sure I don't get my wires crossed. So I'm going to come in here, add another trigger, and then choose on webhook call. And here we go. I have created a new webhook, and now we're just going to this like irks me, by the way. I don't know about you guys, but like this whole idea that it's just not on the same path with this grid-based system. If you guys use n8n, oh my gosh. I don't know if that's just me. Let me know if I'm not alone in this, but I feel like maybe I am. But anyways, we have this new webhook here. We're going to copy this, as you can see on the sidebar here, and we're going to paste it back in. And again, it's asking for the path ID, so we can go ahead and just include in that path ID here. And then for the second thing, I'm going to say name is AI agent. And it's going to be camel cased like before, like you can see here where there's no space. And instead of a space, you just capitalize the next letter of the next word, of the first letter of the next word. And then fields to collect. And I'm going to enter in fields to collect. And this is just going to be message, and that's it. Okay, cool. So now it's going to go ahead and create this for us. And so we just have to be patient and let it do its thing and literally just create this whole workflow for us. Whew, this took me like 10 hours the first time. Wouldn't recommend spending that long on it. It's way easier the way it is now. Cool. So this is good. We can see we have path number 2 down here, and then we have path number 1 up here. So I'm going to copy this, okay? And now back into our live test custom GPT that we created, we can actually just edit this. So I'm going to hit here, click into it, edit GPT, and all we have to do is scroll down to this actions section here, and this is where we pasted in that schema. I'm just going to go ahead and delete everything, and then paste in everything from here back into this custom GPT here, and then update it. And so now it's going to have 2 paths on here, and we can add a 3rd path and a 4th path and a 5th path, and so on and so forth. We'll go ahead and view this GPT, and let's test this out. So now in this instance, what I want to do is I want to message my AI agent here, and I want it to take a look at my calendar and then give me dates back. And so let's go ahead and let's do this. Can please message my AI agent to take a look at my calendar schedule for today. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, send this off. I just want to make sure that this is in fact running. So we're going to test run the workflow, and then we're going to confirm this. And it's going to talk back and forth with each other. And then we should receive that message over here. And it looks like the message couldn't be delivered to your AI agent. The webhook isn't set up to handle this type of request, which is a post request. So you can see here, I forgot to change the second one to post. It's actually a get request. So because of that, because of that, it's not going to work. You can't send a post request to a get request. You can't send a get request to a post request. The methods have to be the exact same. So whatever you're sending it as, you have to receive it as. So I'm going to go ahead and update this, and then we can test this out again. So I'm going to say, please retry this. And again, we'll just confirm. And now, hopefully, we should get the message coming in here. And it says, please respond parameter using response to webhook node. So this is now drawing another error. And if we come back here, it's going to say still no luck, the webhook failed, again, because the workflow could not be started error. And what this is essentially saying in a nutshell is the response here is set to immediate. But the problem is that we're actually responding to it not immediately, but after this AI agent has been completed, and then we're going to send the response back. So it's expecting an immediate response, but this AI agent might take like 30 seconds, might take 40 seconds to process, depending on how much stuff you're integrating it in, and then send it back. So in order for us to get this right, we need to respond when the last node finishes, or respond, I'm going to say use response to webhook node, because that's what it's saying here. Now we can test this again. And again, we're going to say, please, 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 please try one more time. And again, it's just the inner Canadian in me coming out. And we'll send this off. I feel like for all the Canadians out there being like, that is not me. Like, that's not me. How dare you take Canada like that? Okay, so it looks like we got the response coming in here. And that's good, okay? And so for whatever reason, it didn't actually send this off to the next step here. So this is waiting for a response, and it looks like, yeah, we didn't have it actually come through, which is a bit weird. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too sure why it just stopped there, but we can try this out again. So in the AI agent, I just want to make sure that everything looks good. Save this workflow, and then we'll refresh the page. And I'm gonna message the same thing. Okay. Let's see if it works this time. Confirm. Okay, here we go. So it sent over, went to the AI agent, and then essentially it dipped into the memory or the thought process. This is like the brain behind it. You can think about this like a mini ChatGPT in our AI agent. You can think about it like exactly like our particular ChatGPT instance here. Just inside n8n, we have a memory where it was recalling any past messages being sent, and then it went ahead, selected the right tool, which was to check my calendar, and then formulate a response and then send that response back to the webhook, which then was received here. And so if we look at the response back, it's just essentially saying there are no events scheduled on your calendar for today. If you need to set something up or have any other requests, just let me know. I think I was using a test calendar here for AI agents. This is just particularly for my testing of these calendars. Just because sometimes I have like sensitive data on these actual calendars. And then it replied back being like, you have no events that are scheduled on your calendar for today. And so that in a nutshell is how we can add in a second webhook here and then communicate again. And then we can add in a third, and we can add in a fourth. And so I'm not actually going to build these out in this video, but I can walk you through how these practically work when it comes to the call and when it comes to the invoice. How this works is that we're using Go High Level to do this. And so if I go over to my Go High Level account, all that's going on here is we have this ChatGPT workflow here. And let me just actually drag this over so that I don't have to go back and forth so many times. Actually, that is totally the wrong tab. Okay, here we go. So with these, they're both sending to an HTTP request. This has a URL, which is essentially this inbound trigger here. So you can think about this like the exact same way as how we're sending data from ChatGPT into n8n. Instead, we're just sending it from n8n into Go High Level. It's being received here, and then we are finding the contact based on their name. So instead of having to find it on an email, which, let's be honest, like how many people's emails do you actually memorize off the top of your head? Probably none, except for your own. And yeah, so you can find somebody based on their name. As long as you know their name, you can find and Go High Level. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to filter based on whether we want to do a call or whether we want to do an invoice. On both of these scenarios, I'm just passing in a key here, which is call, or I'm passing in a key over here on this one, which is invoice. So I'm just like sending them to the same location. I'm just putting like a key here as call or invoice. And then I'm taking a look at the key over here. Is it call? If it's call, you're gonna go down this path. If it's invoice, you're gonna go down this path. And we're gonna do different actions depending on what the key is that was entered in from n8n. And so from there, all we do is we just schedule the call automatically. This is just a built-out functionality and Go High Level. This will replace it with the person's name. So it would be like Jono for John Smith or whatever. And then this will send over that agreement. And with this agreement that I had here, this is more or less just a template that I created. And so this is what the template looks like. It was a one-click install. I just went in, created in 2 seconds, and then it was ready to send off. And so effectively just sent that over to my email here for me to review. And of course, you can just send this off to your clients. And so in a nutshell, that is more or less it. That's how you can create these automated workflows, connect in ChatGPT into n8n, and then plug it into literally thousands of different applications. There's just so many different options here. It's mind-boggling. This will unlock so much potential when it comes to ChatGPT. I hope you guys found value in this video. If you did, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because I'm sure if you like content like this, you're gonna love the other content that I release all the freaking time as well, because it's all about how you can automate different aspects of your life, primarily your business, which, speaking of which, I just want to go over to my community over here. If you guys want to take it a step further, you can take a look at this and potentially join. Essentially, with this community, we started about a month ago. We have about 330 members in here, and this will give you access to every single one of my videos, give you access to every single one of my blueprints, and it'll give you access to a calendar which you can jump on, weekly calls, and we can go through whatever problems you have. So say, for example, you're trying to set this up, you encountered an error, you couldn't figure out how to solve it. Well, you could just jump on a call and we'd solve it in like 2 seconds on one of these drop-in calls, and then you'd be up and running again. And so there's just so many other benefits, but I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.